James.
Hello there.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I've been looking forward to this. I'm genuinely quite excited about this.
Why?
Actually. Well, because I rewatched this like before we talk about it and stuff, and I really, really want to talk about it. I'm excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, when was the last? So, did you watch it on your own, or?
Yes. Yeah, I watched it on my own. Yeah.
When was the last time you'd seen it? How long had it been since you'd seen it?
At least like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Was that the last time?
Right, so not that long ago.
Yeah, not like years. Yeah.
I mentioned to you last week that I'd seen Ironman. Now, when did this come out?
2008, I think.
So I probably saw it about 12, 13 years ago, I think.
Okay.
I mean, Harry wasn't about, Charlie wasn't about, obviously. So I wanted to see, because I remember thinking I enjoyed that. That wasn't like like what I thought a superhero film would be. It seemed a little bit more grown up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was quite surprised by it at the time. And actually, I've written my notes, and one I've got a couple of questions before we get into it. So I put at the start, as an outsider, this feels like a weird place to start. I didn't think Iron Man was this huge of a character for Marvel. Is this retrospectively the start of the MCU films? Like, do you think?
There's reasons for that. Like, there's reasons why they did that. Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, but like without spoiling anything later on. Like, what?
Well, it's purely financial. The whole thing is purely financial. So I don't know if you know about the background of Marvel trying to do all these. Like, so Marvel decided that they wanted to like make their own cinema studios and everything to do this, but they had very little money. Like they were in a bad state, like financially, at the time when they were doing this. So what they did was they actually borrowed like all the money to make this film and some others by mortgaging their IP. And if this film had failed, then they would have lost the lot. Like, they would have lost all the characters, basically, because like before,
to Nationwide. What?
Presumably, yeah, to whoever it was that they mortgaged it off to, because it's a bit like, because how Sony have the rights to they have the film rights to Spider-Man, and that's because they'd been sold by Marvel to Sony because Marvel desperately needed cash, like at the time, and that's what they did with this as well. And they went with Iron Man because they didn't have many characters that, like, all the ones that were like the top tier ones, like Spider-Man. They couldn't use because they didn't have the rights to them because they'd had to sell them off like earlier.
Wait, who are the other top tier ones?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, the only one I really know of is Spider-Man. Is like the big one. That would be the one that you definitely go for if you were going to make kick something like this off.
Right.
And they couldn't because and that's why also like they had this whole deal with like Paramount are the ones that you probably saw, like the logo and everything were like distributing this as well, because Marvel couldn't do it themselves. It's they didn't have the cash. So like everything was riding on this film. Like if it had been a failure, this whole thing would never have happened. And it's
that makes my next question even more interesting, right?
Yeah,
because it's Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I remember that this was like his comeback film after all the troubles?
Yes, it absolutely was, because that's the other thing that's weird. Because I mean, somebody will almost certainly message us if this isn't the case. Actually, his salary for this film was not that high. Like, it was, the guy who was like James Rhodes, the other guy who was the. Okay, Rhodey, the guy from the military.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was on more money than Robert Downey
really?
Jr. Yeah.
But if you're putting all your eggs in one basket and you're riding the whole of Marvel on there,
yeah.
Like, I'm surprised they've gone through someone who's been, Robert Downey Jr., I don't know much about his past, but I know he was in a really bad way.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to work again. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But for a company like Marvel to just go, okay, let's go with Robert Downey Jr. as our superhero. Like that's wild, right?
Well, I think it was Jon Favreau who directed it, who was also in the film as well. And
I saw him in there.
Yeah, he was the one who wanted him, because he, from all the interviews and all the stuff that you see like around this, it's like he felt that he just perfectly matched this character because of his past, actually. Because there is like there's that he could believe it, that this was he was believable.
Do you know what the reaction was to fans like for finding out that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Iron Man?
I don't actually. No, I don't know, because at the time, I wasn't really following this like really like strongly at the time, and I don't know what the fan reaction was. But also, you got to remember, this is back in 2008 as well, so the internet's like different at that point. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Like
So
it is,
So what what when did you get involved with this? When did you fall into this stuff?
Well, I'd watched quite a lot of them. I mean, I would say I'm not a fanboy. I was a fan of Marvel.
Yeah,
but not like a fanboy at that point, of these. And I think probably, I don't know, a couple of years after they'd started, really, I'd say. Yeah,
2010 then.
Yeah, probably around then. That's when I started to really pay attention.
So
to
still pretty early on then, right?
Yeah. But even that, I wasn't watching every single one. I was just picking the ones that I thought would be interesting. And it was
yeah.
And then it was when I got back into it, like with the kids, was when I started to really get into it, like to a much greater degree. Because as I said before, I was into DC. Like DC stuff was more interesting to me, prior to this, because I just preferred their characters. But then
the DC ones are just Batman, though, right? What other ones are...
DC, it's like, this is the problem. Like, DC have tried to do what Marvel have done, and they failed miserably, like with it.
Really?
Because
with the Batman films, they were massive.
No. The DC extended universe, it's a whole other thing.
The Suicide Squad and stuff.
It was Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, and all that sort of stuff. The Batman films, like the standalone Batman films, have been amazing. Like they've been very, very, like really good. But when they tried to copy Marvel by doing like their own extended universe, it's been awful. Like they've the fan reaction's bad. They're not very good films at all. Yeah, and it's been a mess. But the general reason for that is it's pretty clear that they never really had like as detailed plan as Marvel had, for all this stuff.
Right.
Which is,
but then they didn't have this detailed plan at this point, right? This was
originally they were going to make 6 films. They had a 6-picture deal with Paramount for this.
So hold on. So not everything was riding on this film then. If they'd already signed a 6...
No. They had a 6-picture deal, but if the money didn't come in for this, then it wouldn't have gone anywhere, basically, because they would have been. I mean, they had a distribution deal with Paramount. That doesn't mean that Paramount were funding it, because they weren't. They wouldn't have been the money to like continue making the films. So yeah, that was it. But then obviously, Disney eventually acquired Marvel, and then that became a whole other thing.
Big money, baby. Well, should we go through the film as according to my notes? There's not that many notes, really, because it's not... Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, when we did this for Star Wars, there was loads to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
Here, this is all pretty straightforward, isn't it? But we'll go through them.
Yeah. That's the thing, because, this film, what it establishes, like, Iron Man as a character, and sort of it begins to flesh out a little bit of what they were planning to do with the whole thing. Like, you saw, like, Agent Coulson, yeah? The guy who keeps coming up and saying, I need to talk to like Tony Stark all the time.
No. I don't remember that at all.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. Anyway, go on.
What's his name? Let me see if a photo of him.
Agent Coulson.
Hold on. Iron Man. Agent Coulson. Wait, hold on. So he literally just pops up throughout the film and goes,
he pops up about 3 times, like saying, I need to speak to, he keeps on saying...
I remember the face, he's at the end, isn't he? When they're all...
Yeah, he's at the end as well, yeah. He pops up
end,
several times, but he's like a key character. Like,
is he?
Yes, yeah.
I thought he was just like an extra.
No. He's a key character, and he becomes like a massive fan favourite as well. Like over these films, mostly because of the fact that he's not like a superhero or anything. He's just. I want to watch
this again already. Like he just pops up and goes, "I need to speak to Iron Man."
Yeah.
Okay, right. So remember, I'm watching this with Harry as well, so I've got a few of his comments. That's what I'm curious
about, because it's like, can I just say, like, I mean, every time I watch this film, I'm just surprised by how violent it is.
Well, James, I need to have words with you, seriously, but we'll get there. Right, let's start. So, obviously, it's the opening scene. where he's in an army vehicle.
Yeah.
And I straight away, MySpace reference. Okay, this is an old film then. Hey, you're not going to put this on MySpace, are you? Yep. And I thought, what the fuck? Even in 2008, I thought MySpace was dead. What? 2008? How old would I have been in 2008?
Around? I mean, I was like 28 then.
No.
So
Facebook was about then. You were 28 in 2008.
Let's have a look.
So,
MySpace, it launched in 2003. And so it was big for a while, wasn't it? Well, not big, but, it was around for a while.
I still thought, fucking hell, we should have passed MySpace by now, right? Okay. Okay, this is an old film then. And boom, straight into the action. Bit dark to open with an IED in conflict, right?
Yeah. It's
like, because that's like real horrible stuff. And I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because I think now, obviously, there's been a huge, in the past, even 5 years, there's been a real shift in openly talking about mental health. Yeah. And one of the big things that gets discussed around mental health is PSD, isn't it?
Yeah.
Post-traumatic PTSD. Yeah. And obviously, a lot of military people, soldiers and stuff come back and talk about experiences with IED and how that, affects their mental health. And I just thought for a superhero film to have that in there right at the start was kind of like, oh, would they have done that again? I don't think they would have.
Yeah, you see, I'm not so sure either because, I mean, as we're going to see with more of these, which I hope we're going to watch, it's like the tone of the other films is not the same as this.
Yeah,
I've
got a feeling that it changed,
the tone changes quite. I mean, the bit with that as well, like the IED goes off, and then you got the guy, like the soldiers getting out the Humvee or whatever, and then like you see that other guy get shot. And then there's like all like bullet holes in the side of the car and everything, and it looks
car and stuff. Yeah,
it's pretty violent. Like it's really quite.
It feels like two films, doesn't it? That first half. I mean, we'll get to it. But the first half is one film, and the second half is more of what I expected from this. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like I'm not, I'd seen this before, so I kind of remembered. In fact, actually, I kind of only remembered that first half. Yeah. Like I only remembered the stuff where he's captured and he's working on his little suit and that. But yeah, anyway, we'll get to that. Okay. Then the terrorist video being filmed. This seems way darker than I remember. Yeah, so I remember him being captured, but I forgot there was like literally a frame shot of one of those terrorist beheading videos that were, that we'd seen on the news and stuff. So Harry was okay. He just saw it as, bad guys versus good guys, but see, obviously he has no real world touchstone to look at that stuff and go, is this right?
See, we tried watching it with Asher twice, actually, and I remember the first time we actually got through the IED bit, and then Chen and I looked at each other and were like, yeah, this is too much, like, at this time. Like, he's too young. And this was when I can't remember, actually, but I remember it being like thinking he's too young at this stage.
It wouldn't have happened to have been 7, would he?
He might have been.
Yeah, didn't want to warn me about my 7-year-old watching it, though, did you, James?
I don't remember.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I did say it was violent, but, but yeah, you said you'd seen it before anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, but not with Harry, not with a 7-year-old.
You said you saw, like, Ghostbusters and it was horrific.
Yeah, but they're not IEDs and terrorists, James.
That's true.
In Ghostbusters, that would be a bit weird if...
There wasn't the bit, like, I mean, the other bit with that is that with the guy who's going to torture him with that burning rock as well.
Yeah, that was rough. Much. Yeah. Anyway, right, okay. So we've got the introduction to Tony Stark. So then it flashes back, and we see what Tony Stark's all about. And I put a little joke here, James. Apparently, I was feeling quite, I thought I had a good little joke to put down as I was writing these notes. I put, he's a cast iron bellend. Yeah. Yeah, good. Like that one.
Very, very, very good, yeah.
Stay tuned. There's plenty more of that. Yeah. And then I've put in capitals, oh no, there's a heavy petting scene and now a naked woman. James, I told you I was watching this with my 7-year-old son. Yes. Why didn't you warn me this film contained filth?
There wasn't a naked woman. I don't remember that.
The reporter, that he talks to at the start.
Oh yeah, but she's not naked. Come on, you don't see.
She is naked, James.
You don't
see anything.
Yeah.
But she is completely naked on a bed with a little sheet covering her butt.
Why is that worse? Why is that worse than the violence?
Because. Good point. I don't know. It's just a bit weird. A 7-year-old seeing a fully naked woman like that. It's like that was a bit much.
Did you not cover his eyes or anything, or
No, he's sitting in the other centre. I mean, I just ignored it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to talk about it.
You didn't do that thing that like my parents used to do, where it was like, "Where's the remote? Quick, pass the remote," like that, and like trying to change the channel.
No, I didn't do that. Jo was out, so she didn't know what was going on. When we see more of Tony Stark, this isn't because of the naked woman in his bed, but I said I want to be this rich, genuinely, because he was just spending his day like working on a car.
Yeah,
and I just thought he was having a brilliant time. Yeah, I wish I had the time to just do fuck all day. Just go down to a basement, do a Lego set.
Yeah,
this is what I want to do now. I've got money. Pay someone to show someone out the door. I wouldn't, I'm not a looker, so that wouldn't be a problem.
I don't think it would matter.
But having it, I don't know. I am odd looking. Mr. Bean can be as rich as you want. He's not. Come on. Right. I put. Wait. Right. Okay. This is it. Right. This was the big surprise because we're looking at these retrospectively. It's 2022. Cinema media has grown. It's not perfect. Still, there's still a lot more growing to do and evolving.
You're going to talk about the pole dancing?
Oh my god! What the fuck? Like when you look at the fact that the whole opening with Tony Stark is how women just like snap and they go like.
Yeah.
I was a little bit like disappointed that he met a journalist, a female journalist, who clearly hated him and was clearly angry at him for what he was doing with his company. And it cuts to them in bed, right? And I just kind of thought, okay, that's bullshit, right? But we didn't see what happened in between, and maybe they had a connection, right? Maybe you can talk around it. You can't, but maybe you can talk around it. But then the next thing, when the stewards are pole dancing on his plane, I just went, nah, that's not is it?
The whole thing with this is you're supposed to be looking at this guy and thinking he is a massive arsehole.
Yes,
like, this is a horrible person. It's
totally
like,
get that. Totally
that's
get
the whole
that.
point.
And you can have sexist, womanizing characters in films. You can, right? And I honestly believe, like they tried to do with this film, that you can show that they change.
Yeah,
right?
that's the whole thing. The whole thing is the capability for growth, and that you're not like that.
But that's focusing on the male character in that situation. Focus on the 3 female stewards that are there to work on a private jet for this bloke that are now strip teasing and pole dancing on the plane through.
Well, this was all
that's where the problem
Epstein, isn't it? It's all like pre all of that sort of stuff.
No, it's got nothing to do. Right? Okay, look, you're bringing up something that regardless of that. This is it shows you where film was back in 2008.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny because as men, you watch films like these growing up, and you do not think twice about it. But as we're being pulled out of that, and as we are starting to recognise what
it becomes
a problem
super
that is in cinema,
doesn't it?
You go back, you go, holy fuck! Well, what were they thinking?
We noticed the same stuff with some of the Star Wars stuff, didn't we? From like the the original trilogy, there was loads of stuff like that in there. I mean,
Han Solo, absolute sex pest. There's no getting around it.
If you watch like Indiana Jones and stuff now, it's the same, man.
Well,
it's
mate,
like
you want to read reports about the meetings leading up to Indiana Jones being released. There's some horrendous stuff. Okay, all right. So look. When I look at these films, I try and take them in context, but I do think it's important to highlight what was a problem, and that's not to turn around and say this film should be stricken from the record or deleted, or no one should ever watch this film. It's just a crazy indication of, it's a crazy thing to notice in a film that really, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like 2008, which is not that long ago, and I mean, I remember when it came out, it was not that was not seen as being something that was, like, not right, even though obviously it isn't. Do you know what I mean? It's that is very
It just shows you how far we've come, but we've still got far to go. But
absolutely. Yeah.
And also I've not watched a film recently and missed any of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you get some people, they're ruining our films, but I'm not watching a film just going, why are they not pole dancing right now? What's going on? Do you know what I mean? It's so weird. Right, okay. Because that's it, isn't it? The problem there is that literally every woman that he meets, whether they like him or not,
they're all throwing themselves at him.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. Which is ridiculous. Right, okay. Okay, Tony Stark has a phone with a 2-inch screen. Yeah, this is an old film. I'll bring that up again later, so hold off on that.
It's a video phone, though. Video phone.
Wait, hold on, because I've got another point about that later. Also, I'd totally buy one of those missile things. Odd point, but the aspect ratio of the film, is it the aspect ratio, I guess it is, of the film changed for that bit?
Okay. This is something that was actually a bit strange for me when I was watching it, because I watched it on my phone, actually, because I couldn't watch it on TV or whatever, right?
Okay, and the full experience.
And it was changing. It changed several times as I was watching it.
Really?
One moment it was like full screen, like on my iPhone, and then other times it had borders. It was
that's
strange.
what I had. Yeah, that's what I had. That was really weird. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something that happens like that. But that's an iconic scene, and it is so good when the missiles explode behind it. It still looks so good, and it's exciting, and just his performance, Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in that scene is just so spot on. Where he's explaining about the missiles, and then when he turns around and that huge explosion behind him, and then the big or the wind or whatever you call it, the blast going past him, and then even to the point where he gets that box out and opens it up and the champagne comes out and stuff. It's just so good. I think I thought that was brilliant. Really well done. So then I put, did Tony just have a hernia up? No, apparently not. He's in way less pain than I was. What was that? Oh, because when he wakes up, right? So he wakes up and he's had that thing, whatever it is,
stuck into his chest. Yeah,
stuck into his chest. Yeah, and he just gets up and walks about. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I had a hernia operation 5 weeks ago, and I was out for a good 3 weeks.
Were you? But hang on. Were you not wired up to a car battery though?
I was not wired up to a car battery. I mean, that whole thing is bollocks, right? Like,
of course it is. Yeah,
it's keeping the shards. Yeah, but what I like, if it's going to be bollocks, just let it be bollocks. But when you've tried to add some weird pseudoscience in there as well to try and make it like this is the reason, when he was going, oh no, that's keeping the shrapnel from going towards your heart.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you take the shrapnel out? Like, what?
Because you can't. I think actually that is explained later on, because there are in later films that comes up.
Right.
Again.
Okay.
There are stuff there.
But I'm watching the first film in this, and they've just gone, oh, shrapnel. This is what you did in Star Wars. When I was watching Star Wars, I go, this makes no sense. What the fuck are they talking about? Oh, they explain that 3 films time. Yeah, but no, I'm watching this.
They've got to have a reason for why he has to have like the power source thing stuck in his chest. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I get that. Fine. But the shrapnel is slowly moving towards his heart, is it?
Yeah, and so then this is using magnets or whatever to keep it out of his heart. Like,
but
that's the
right,
thing.
Okay, so they can't take the shrapnel out. How is the shrapnel slowly moving towards his heart?
Well, it's not now, because he's got that thing in stopping
it. Yeah, I know, but if he didn't have it, how is the shrapnel slowly moving towards his heart?
Presumably through blood vessels or something, I don't know.
Through blood vessels, I don't know.
I don't know. Don't know, do I?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's my point, James. That's my point.
But you see, this is like weird to get hung up on, though. Like, I don't see why this is a problem.
Because they thought, hey, this is the reason. And if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, you're like, sorry, what? What? I mean, If you're going to offer a reason, I'd rather you just not explain it than offer a reason that makes you go, what? What are you talking about?
I had other bigger problems with it in terms of like things being possible than that. Like when after he escapes from the cave and he's in the suit that he's constructed, and then he flies off into the sky and then crashes. There's no way he'd survive that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It was it was just surrounded by bits of metal. It's ridiculous.
But then imagine if they'd have gone, right, if he'd have crashed and he'd gone, actually, his bones for a split second turned into rubber and he bounced off. And you go, oh, no, they explained the rubber thing.
No, that wouldn't make any sense. And that would be
not
ridiculous.
Not the slow-moving shrapnel towards through blood vessels.
Sometimes that happens in your body. You know,
You're a doctor.
Yeah, not of medicine.
Clearly. Right, okay. So I've put here.
I don't think it's a problem. I genuinely don't think that's a problem as an explanation.
Okay, fine. I've put here. They're pointing a gun at Tony Stark that was made by Tony Stark. Makes you think.
It does make you think, doesn't it? And he did a lot of thinking about that as it was really going on.
I must admit, they did over-egg that bit of it. Oh, yeah, no, we get it. He's an arms dealer and the bad guys.
And it was also like when they take him outside and it's like, look, all of these weapons.
All of the crates have his name on it, yeah. No, we get it. Oh, yeah, here we go. I did put the whole magnet keeping the shrapnel from entering his heart thing is a bit weird, isn't it? How does that work? Turns out blood vessels.
I don't even know if it is that. I'm going to look this up later, and then
please don't.
Next episode, I'm going to explain it because
don't do that because I'm supposed to just be watching these films. I don't want that. Oh, Harry at this point. So this was just when he was taken outside and seen all those crates, as you say. Yeah. Harry just made his first comment. He shouted. Have a guess what he shouted.
This is over-egging it a bit.
He's very much like me, but not me. He shouted, "Just be Iron Man!" Yeah. But it's going to be a long evening. I must admit, yeah, it is. It's a tough one for him to start with, you know. Yeah. To sit down and say we're going to watch an Iron Man film, and 45 minutes into the film, he's in a cave making a shit suit.
A shit suit. Yeah, it's not even the proper one. It's just no. It looks rubbish as well.
He was kind of like losing his patience a bit. He just wanted to see Iron Man. But then I explained to him, because you told me last week that we got Incredible Hulk next, which I'm assuming has a long, boring intro before he becomes the Incredible Hulk. So I'm sort of going to prepare him for that.
You need to, Also, I'm going to have to give you a warning about that one as well. Like
naked women in it, is that?
No, I don't remember there being nudity, but the final fight sequence at the end is pretty horrific. I think it's.
Is it just monsters against monsters though?
Yeah, it's monsters against monsters. Yeah,
that's fine. I'll be alright with that. Okay. As long as it's not humans, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shooting each other and blowing each other up. That's worse, isn't it? If this is monsters, the thing. They're monsters.
It really is out of all the films, it's the only one I can remember where it's like that. Like seriously, the rest of it is not like that at all.
So it'll be fine then. But then I told him that it's Iron Man 2 after that, and he was really excited because he knows that when we watch Iron Man 2, it's going to start with Iron Man, isn't it? It's not going to start with like we've seen that bit now where he's not Iron Man. We don't need to see any
story or anything like that. Yeah, so it's
good.
You got that.
Right. Okay. So to be fair, the acting in this has been fantastic so far. The setup is bloody great too. It really is. I mean, it's a bit corny and it over-eggs a few things, but really, it was sort of captivating, that first part of the film.
Robert Downey Jr. totally sells the whole thing as well. Like
he's fantastic. I think he's brilliant. In this, yeah, he is really, really good. Right, so he's making an Iron Man suit on the sly. Looks like the Iron Giant from that book.
I mean, that's
book, Iron Giant.
That whole sequence is like there's trouble. I mean, it's another one where if you stop to think about it, it's absurd. Like the fact that these are the worst terrorists ever. Like that they can't notice what's going on.
I've put the next bit. This is all a bit silly, right? Not bad, but silly. When he picks up the iron suit drawing and just puts them back down again. Like I was kind of like, it's so.
But also when they're like looking at it and they're like, this doesn't look like a missile, and it's like.
yeah. Yeah, that is. That it was just silly, isn't it? I mean, I'm up for silliness. I can see stuff like that. I can deal with stuff like when they're trying to give some sort of medical excuse for something that makes zero sense. Okay, the whole breakout scene was great. A bit of comedy, lots of action. Sad scene with Jensen. Perfect stuff. Yeah, that was that whole bit was exactly what I want from this. That's what I want. There was funny moments, like where he's just punching people into the walls, or where he got stuck in that rock. Yeah, there was some dramatic moments, as I say, when he said goodbye to his mate, and then just like loads of really cool action. That was probably my favourite part of the film in breaking out of the cave. Harry loved the flamethrower bit. That was it. When he stands outside and they're all shooting it, when he's picking off, and he just
he goes, my turn, and he just like
Harry just went whoa when the fucking flamethrowers went off.
But again, it's like people being burned. But
it's funny, isn't it? When you're a kid, like you're not thinking of the realities of what's going on in front of you. Really,
I mean, he kills a lot of people in these films.
He certainly does. He certainly does. Some of them he should have killed, and instead just made their face a little bit red. He also said, "At least it's sand," as he's coming down, crashing down after flying for a bit. I think we're both having fun. Oh, Harry said that. So when he crashed, he tries to fly off, but it doesn't go right, and then he smashes down into the desert. Harry just turned around to me and went, at least it's sand. I just thought, okay, that's fine. Oh man, imagine being Tony Stark, wanting a cheeseburger and then giving you a fucking Burger King one. Fuck that. They'll all be fired.
There's a story related to that, actually.
Well, I'm assuming it was it's
to do with
advertising.
It's that, but it's also to do with Robert Downey Jr.'s past as well, apparently. To do with I can't remember the exact details, but it's to do with like the drug addiction stuff and how he had like a Burger King or something like that, which made him realise he'd reached rock bottom or something. And it's just
so they gave him a Burger King on the fucking set. I mean, we've all been there though, James, haven't we? Where we're sitting in a Burger King, eating a Burger King, saying, "I can't get any lower than this." I mean, McDonald's I can deal with. Sitting here eating a Burger King, no, thank you. Have you tried these chips?
It's like, this is, I just said, look, it's got, why Burger King changed Robert Downey Jr.'s life forever. Yeah, there's a whole thing with it, yeah.
But why give him a Burger King? You know what I mean? You're the richest...
Can I just read to you what it says? It says, in 2003, Robert Downey Jr. found himself driving to a Burger King. His car, the quote from a now lost interview with Empire, was filled with tons of fucking dope, is what he said at the time. And then it says, it was such a disgusting burger I ordered. I had that and this big soda, and I thought something really bad was going to happen. After this, he states that he tossed his drugs into the sea and gave up on drugs forever. So yeah.
Still, though, you're that rich. I mean, forget, like, the whole point is it's the richest guy on the face of the planet, and they've bought him a Burger King. You go Five Guys or something at least.
But Burger King did have they had a marketing thing going with the film.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer, isn't it, for that one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Tony is a good guy now. It only took him being held prisoner by his own weapons for 3 months.
and the death of potentially hundreds of people as well.
And is the one friend that he made while he was on that trip. Harry makes his second big remark while watching this film, and it was, "Just be the real Iron Man," because he'd seen the shit Iron Man bit, and now he just wanted it. I said, I thought he
was going to say, like, why is he giving up the weapons? That's mental. Like, why would you do that?
Well, this is it, because, like, you had that first portion of the film where he wasn't Iron Man and he was building the suit. Then the suit, like, then he escapes, and then the next bit is him building another suit. Like, I would say 60% of this film is Tony Stark making a suit. And the rest of it is actually other bits. It's really like there's a lot of suit making in it.
Well, I think it's because they're really trying to establish like he's a proper like scientist kind of person. You know, he's like a proper genius and everything. So it's like, yeah, there's like a lot of effort put into that, I think. But I think also they were just really happy with the special effects that they worked on. You know, I thought it looked really good. Like all of that stuff with the suits and everything, I thought looked brilliant.
Yeah. So do you know what the swapping the device scene was?
What was that?
I don't know. That's in my notes. I need to call you soon after watching these films because
swapping the device.
The swapping the device scene was funny. I'll tell you what though, I don't remember a single thing about this film beyond this point, and it would seem that I still don't remember a single thing. The swapping the device film. So the thing in his chest where he gets his assistant to come down. And, they're trying to swap it out, and she fucks it right up.
I wince every time with that scene because that's horrible as well.
Very funny though. I thought it was really well done. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was going to be that he was pranking her and going, "Oh no, I'm dead." No, only joking. Like, no, just swap in and out. And they were like, "No, you are actually hurting me."
I'm going to cardiac arrest at the moment. Can you? Yes.
Right. Okay. Man's got a 2-inch display on his phone, but also a touch-controlled holographic computer.
Yes, that's true. And like a computer where he can like touch things and like rotate stuff and like they appear on his hand and all that kind of stuff. And then he's got a crappy Verizon phone. It's like
which it's like it's not even one that looks cool. It sort of spins sideways.
But that must have been cool in 2008. Maybe it was.
I bet
cool.
it wasn't, mate. I bet it wasn't. So? I bet. What phones did we have in 2008?
Did we have the
iPhone?
No, we did because that was 2007 that came out.
Right, so we had the 3G. Fucking hell! When they went with that mobile phones in 2008.
They must have done a deal. It was an LG phone. I just had a look, and it was. They must have had a deal with LG or whatever to promote it. Oh my god!
There's loads of. Yeah, you had a few Nokia ones. You had, I can't see the iPhone on it. Samsung. They have much better phones. Yeah, iPhone 3G.
No, wait. This phone is even funnier because it has an aerial that you can pull out on the top as well.
He never did that, did he?
He never
did that in the film.
No, he didn't. That would have been brilliant. It's got like an aerial you can pull out. That's
we were
incredible.
Well past aerials at that point. That's mad.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Flight testing. First big laugh from Harry when he flew into the wall. Great scene. I think I saw that clip before the film came out. Did they put that out as the trailer?
It might have been part of the trailer. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's
I remember
possible.
them just putting that one bit out.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but I think that's what they did because I remember seeing that, and that's probably what convinced me to see the film back then. Okay. Yeah, okay, bit risky doing all these flight tests right next to all these sports cars, though, right?
I know, you're just sitting there thinking, please don't. They're just going to get wrecked, aren't they? They're just going to get wrecked.
Why were they there?
It's his garage, isn't it? It's like he's down in his garage,
It's all like sponsor stuff, right? It must be.
Yeah. Well, Audi was the major sponsor for the whole film.
Oh, but it wasn't just Audi's back there, was it? They
had some others as well, but
yeah, Audi was the main sponsor because he was what is it? The R8, is it? He's driving around. I can't remember the name of the car. I'm not a car person. I'll say this: I'm surprised at how non-kid friendly this film is.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting the violence, forgetting the nudity, but also how slow all of the build-up was. But we've kind of spoken about that, so there's no need to go over that again. That heads-up display looks like every Sony open world game. Too busy, baby. When he turns his helmet on for the first time, and it's like that is like way too all over the place. I know. It's like I'm waiting to see
play Breath of the Wild, mate. You just
there's far too much going on. Could you imagine just walking about and like it zooming into just random shit all the time? When it goes
just giving you information, it's like I don't care. Like
it zooms into the car wheel, and it was like, why would I ever want to look at that? Why are you zooming into that? At no point did he go, "Oh, we need to look at the software on this thing." This
is far too busy. It's just too busy.
It's far too busy. this is so stupid. When he was just about to crash into the road, then the engines kicked back in. But we really enjoyed it. I mean, it is stupid. Like, he was like an inch away from smashing into the road, and he just he just makes it. This is when he was flying around for the first time. Why doesn't the police stop him from driving like a dickhead? Oh, so this is the scene where he suddenly decides he wants to go to this event, right?
Yeah.
There's an event going on, and everyone at this point thinks that he's at home recovering because he's already announced that he's no longer working on weapons and all this sort of stuff. And he suddenly decides he wants to go to this. But he drives like a right dick, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. That doesn't change. He's just like that all the time.
There's no police don't turn up and go, "Hold on, mate, what are you doing? You may be Iron Man, but just calm down a bit, yeah? Right? Here's a ticket." I mean, ridiculous. Okay, the real Iron Man has shown up now to that town. What does that mean? And this is great. Oh, right, okay. So this is when he goes over there to stop the weapons trading and stuff like that. Yeah. The punching, the shooting of the bad guys. Why is this so much fun? There's 0% peril, but Iron Man is just kicking ass. Yeah, it's weird,
because it looks really cool, though, doesn't it? The way they shot that, it looked so good. Like, even just that when like there was that tank and he just like shoots like a small rocket out and then just walks away and then it explodes and you're just like, fuck yeah, that looked really good.
It's weird because whenever I've like enjoyed an action film or an action scene or whatever, there's always been a bit of peril there. You can't just be invincible going in.
Yeah, but you see, it's boring. The thing with this film, though, is a lot of this film is just like a power fantasy. Like, it is this fantasy of just like having like. And it is like having like ultimate power almost, really, like where there is no peril, you don't have to worry, you're just really powerful. And that's what you get from that with him. And it totally works as well because we were loving it. Like it didn't matter that it was like there was no chance of him. Like that line, when like with the the terrorist that's the leader guy, and he's just like dumps him and then just do what you want with him and then just like flies off. And there. It's just there's so many good lines in that are just that are great.
Oh, there's some terrible lines as well, but there's one in particular that I want to point out and just go, I hope they never do anything this bad again.
Well, do you know about the scripting with this film as well?
No,
because this may explain some other things.
Why would I know that?
Well, no, I don't know. No, because this is like some of these things have become like sort of legendary, really. For this, because the script wasn't finished for this film when it was shot, and a lot of Robert Downey Jr.'s stuff apparently is ad-libbed. Like he made a lot of it up as he was going along, and that is one of the reasons why Gwyneth Paltrow, like her responses to stuff are really weird and wooden sometimes, and apparently that's because she didn't know how to respond to the stuff that he was coming out with. And
that's helpful, isn't it? As an actor,
it's very, very strange, but
Okay. Plane scene where he saves the pilot. This is just really good action, isn't it? Well put together, totally clear what's going on, and littered with gags. And it's cutting between the military and the and the pilot's trying to shoot him down, and he saves the pilot. I mean, classic superhero stuff that was, diving down as the parachute breaks.
Just at the last minute, it's all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. Twist. Stark's partner is literally working with the bad guys.
Yeah. Did you see this coming?
Yeah. I mean, it might be because I just sort of remembered it, but when you've got like a character like that, you just know that they're the bad guy from the start, right? It's like Scooby-Doo.
You see, I didn't think that was necessary. Like, I don't think that he had to have been working with the terrorists for the film to still have worked like really well. I think for me, I felt that was going a bit far. But then
I think that works. Well, why would they suddenly start fighting like that then?
What do you mean? You mean why? Well, because he was annoyed that the weapons side was being shut down, and then he wanted to wrest control of the company back. From.
But it would have been like, all right, mate, why have you got to create a suit to try and kill me if you're?
It would say, I guess, it'd be like, we'll see you in court. It'd be that.
yeah, and then the rest of the film would be them working on their court case together. Well, actually, I've got major shareholder, and our contract doesn't specifically say that we need to create weapons, but that's what our company's built on. And
you're misleading the shareholders. And it's
Harry going, just be Iron Man.
See, that it'd be like episode 1 of Star Wars. Just like it's a trade dispute, but instead it's a legal dispute over who owns the company.
Harry go, but I don't get it. Tony Stark's made it clear that the synergy with their third-party partners will pull them through this dip in share price.
He's got the arc reactor. It's patented.
Right, okay. Showing him the crappy Iron Man. How did it take so long to put that shit back together? Oh yeah, the terrorists get all the it was funny because it was 3 months he was away for, and then he gets back and then he's working on his own Iron Man suit, and by that time they'd recovered the little bits of the old Iron Man suit and they'd just put it next to each other. Yeah. Like it was
he looked like C-3PO, just like
C-3PO. Yeah. Right. That high-pitched memory device would be handy for getting out of small talk conversations with people. I'd like that. Just going up to
switching
people, switching it on next to people, and just walking off. I'd love that. I mean, it was pretty horrible the way all his veins come up. I was a little bit worried about Harry watching that, but could you imagine that? Morning, David. Morning. Oh, what'd you get up to the weekend? Just like walking up. Make office life so much better.
You'll be fine later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Just don't look in the mirror. Okay. Plot heating up. The bald man just nicked Iron Man's blue light heart thing. Okay, yeah, that was when. What was his name? What's his name? The one with the beard, the bad guy.
I can't remember his name. I know it's Jeff Bridges, but I've forgotten the...
Can I ask you one question about that character?
Obadiah. That's it, Obadiah.
Obadiah, right. Can I ask you one question about that character?
Go for it.
This is dead, right? It's gone.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead and gone.
Good.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, because I really don't want that in these films. Yeah. I don't want like a bad guy to clearly die, like in a similar way to this one, how this one died. And then for 3 films later, go, oh, I didn't actually. You go, what?
I can promise you that doesn't really happen with these films.
Good.
Like people, quite a lot of people die like in these films, and they stay dead.
Good. Right. Okay. But that whole plot of him nicking the heart was like really good. Although I did think like Harry was on the edge of his seat when we were watching this bit, as Tony Stark was like struggling to get down to his workshop to get his old reactor back to keep himself alive. But I was thinking as he was going down the lift, and I'm going, oh, that shrapnel. It's just slowly moving towards that heart, isn't it? It's just through the blood vessels, according to James. Yeah. It's slowly going into that. Oh, this is what it looks like when shrapnel's slowly going towards your heart, is it? Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, no, I love
blood vessels.
I love that whole the little trophy thing with the proof that Tony Stark has a heart and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I love all that. Loved it. Right, okay. Oh, mate, this is leading to an Iron Man suit battle, and I'm all for this. Like Robot Wars is what I put there.
It is like Robot Wars, yeah.
It is, because it really kicks off from that point, doesn't it? This is where the big end battle is. It needs some Jonathan Pierce, but this fight scene with the 2 Iron Man suits is great.
Well, the good thing about it as well is it doesn't go on too long either. Like, it's just about right, I felt, like, in terms of, like, how long they make you sort of go through that. And also there's like a nice nod to earlier on in the film as well, like the solution like to the problem was pretty good, I thought.
Go on, what do you mean?
With the ice, like
no, that bit wasn't good. I thought
you didn't like that. I thought that was great.
I thought that bit was going to be great. I thought it was going to be great. Turns out it wasn't, because if you remember correctly, like, I mean, let me read these next few lines. How did you solve the icing problem is what I put in quotes, right? Turns out he did, though. Bit weird, because he flies up with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And the other guy turns to ice. He says, how did you solve the icing problem? And he didn't, and he falls down, but then he's fine anyway.
I mean, the power went out, though, didn't it, for a while?
Yeah, the power went out. He dropped down, but he just landed and got back up again. Like, nothing bad happened to him.
I know, but it gave him like a window to be able to do something, for Tony Stark to do something next.
Okay, is that all he was going for? That's a bit. That was a bit risky. Like, I've got, what did he have? Like 15% power left.
Yeah.
So he decided to fly into the atmosphere, not to defeat him, but to do something next.
A little bit. Just to shut him down for a little bit.
That's weird. Okay, fine. But how do you defend this, James? Because when he comes back, he says, "Ice to see you."
I don't remember that. Does he really say that?
I think he does, yeah.
I can't believe he says that, because
I'm questioning it myself now.
I don't think he said that. You're thinking of like Batman and Robin.
Well, I've put this like this was Batman Forever. Do you remember Batman Forever? That was the king of those.
Was it Batman and Robin? I think it was Batman and Robin. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't it? Right. Tonight freeze is coming.
Antifreeze. Wait, hold on. Ice to see you, and then I put Iron Man. What if he doesn't say that, and I've just added that in my head? I'm going to watch that bit again actually tonight.
See, I don't remember him saying that. I think I would have remembered that.
What if he doesn't say that, James? And I've added that with my head.
See, that was definitely. I've just checked. It was Batman and Robin that was in.
Yes, yeah, I do. I know that. Right, I need to watch that bit again because I've written in quotes "Ice to see you" like this was Batman Forever. So I need to watch that again.
If you just imagine that, that's brilliant.
That is mad, isn't it? If I've just imagined that, I need help. Like, I need help if that's what's happened there, James. I'm in trouble, mate.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Harry is asking how Tony Stark lived, and I have no answers for him. Oh, yeah, because doesn't he get, like, battered or whatever?
He gets really battered, yeah.
Yeah, how did he live?
I guess the suit is just, protection.
Tony Stark in it. I hope Tony's assistant doesn't get with him. She could do better. Yeah. He tells everyone he's Iron Man, end of film. Right, okay.
That was also ad-libbed, that bit, which I thought was great. That,
what?
I am Iron Man. That was ad-libbed.
No, it wasn't.
It was ad-libbed.
That's bollocks.
Seriously.
It
was. Fine, but it's true, it was.
Oh, you're going to show me an article where, like, Jon Favreau or Robert Downey Jr. says, we just come up with that on the spot. I don't believe it. Do not believe it.
Let's have a look here.
I don't believe it. If they had ideas for more Iron Man films, right, there's no way they would rest it on Robert Downey Jr. just having a laugh at the end of the film.
No, there was all sorts of different stuff, and then he said that as being, it was that, and then they were like, that's perfect, and they went with
bollocks.
That. That's what I read. That's what I read.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what you read. I don't believe that story. That I'm not saying you're talking bollocks. I'm saying they're talking bollocks. There's absolutely no way they would change the course of any future films based on.
No, it's not. No.
Impulse.
Okay, that's not changing the course of the film. It's that he. No. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying, right?
No. Yes, it is.
No. It's okay. Let me read to you what it says here, because I've got the article here which explains it. So it says how Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man ending ad-lib changed the MCU forever. So there's a whole thing with this. It says,
but you just said it didn't change future films. So go on.
Hang on. I can't read it. It's too long. It's like a whole thing here. Okay. So it says it. The line was not scripted. It was a Downey ad-lib. So it took a measure of courage to include it. The audience reaction gave Marvel Studios the confidence to do it again when they brought Thor to the screen and to make other fundamental changes.
Whoa. Shut up. You're not... I don't want to know about Thor yet.
Okay. Fine. But yeah.
Isn't that giving away something about Thor?
Okay. What this is doing... The reason that... that this is a big deal, and the reason this changed things is because normally characters have secret identities.
I'm aware of that. Yeah,
and this is what changed. This ad-lib changed that because he would have had that as a secret identity, but then they decided not to because of this ad-lib.
They 100% planned for him to reveal it by the end of this film. There is no way they did that on the spot.
Okay, well, I can only tell you.
There's too much money involved. Yeah, no, and I agree. You read some article about him making that up. They've all said this, like Kevin Feige, who's the guy who's in charge of the entire thing, said that this was the case. Because it makes a good fucking story, James.
Maybe it does. Maybe it does, but I'm just telling you what I've read.
don't get angry because you've believed the studio's bullshit.
You're just too cynical. You know, it's a big deal.
Sorry, James Farley is telling me I'm too cynical. That's a turnaround, isn't it, mate? Yeah. There is absolutely no way. I don't give a fuck what they say. Right? They've probably put that out there to get some articles on it or whatever, but there's no way with this amount of money riding on future films that they would let him change the course.
Right. Shall I read you what it says here? Right, it says
no, because I don't believe it.
Oh, okay, fine. Don't believe it. I don't care. But that's what it says here.
This. It's still real to me.
Just shut up. Just shut up. Okay, this is.
So I've got a couple more lines written down.
It's a great.
That was all right. I love the action bit. A lot of it hasn't aged well, but it was an okay film. Harry said it was good. Favourite part. It was all really good, I thought, and he gave it a 9 out of 10. That's
really good. That's really good.
I know, but he's a kid. Yeah. Kids do that for him.
Yeah, I know, but still, if it was really bad, he wouldn't have said that. I trust Harry.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think as a starting point, knowing that there are loads of films coming afterwards, it's fine. I was very surprised by how slow it was. Even I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I did when I watched it back in the day, which is, it's always likely to be like that, isn't it? Because you know the film by then. But also, I kind of left it feeling a little bit flat because it feels like a little bit disjointed. Like we had all that stuff at the start, and it felt like a completely different film in the second half. And I felt like lots of characters didn't resolve themselves by the end of this. So as a first film, it kind of felt like there's a lot of characters here that were just left hanging. Like the military guy and there was a lot of stuff around that just.
But again, all of that is coming. It's.
I'm sure it is. But as a film where we're up to now, I kind of felt, this really sort of went on a different direction for the second half, which I think it needed to do. But at the same time, completely ditched a lot of the stuff they were building in that first half of the film.
Did you? Okay, you saw the credits at the end after the credits, right?
No,
you saw the. Oh no, you did not miss this. You missed the stuff after the credits.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think because I just assumed that stuff come into it later when there was more going on.
No, this is the first one that has it in because obviously it's the first film and it's a pivotal thing. Now? Yeah, watch it now. Watch because I want to get your reaction.
I'll tell you what we did do after this. I'll explain it in a bit. Right, okay. YouTube.
Yeah.
It'll be on YouTube, won't it?
Probably, yeah.
Iron Man 2008 post-credit scene. Is it on there? Yes, it is. Hold on. Right, so it's only 37 seconds long. Okay, let's watch it. I'm watching a trailer at the moment. I'll try and describe what I'm watching as I'm watching it. Right. So the door opens. Right, Tony starts walking into an apartment.
Yeah.
You think you're the only superhero in the world? Is that Samuel Jackson?
Yes.
Nick Fury. Oh, this is the wrestler. Oh man! Yeah, no, we should have watched that. I might have to show Harry that then tomorrow.
Yeah, so because this is important because like Samuel L. Jackson is like a really important part of all of these films, and this is his first his first reveal of him.
Right, so he goes up to him and says, "I need to talk to you about the Avengers." That's it. Okay, that's cool. No, that is pretty cool actually. I wish I'd have watched that. Okay, so. Can you just warn me to watch post-credits whenever I need to watch post-credits?
Yeah. Well, every single film. All of these have that. Every single film has these. Some of them, like later on, they even start to have mid-credits as well, which is really annoying. Like you have to like just go through it and just fast forward it through, and then you'll come across stuff.
Yeah, I'll do that.
They do it every single time. It's
okay. Okay, I'll have to show Harry that I'll have to show Harry that tomorrow. Because what we did after this, and I think what we're going to do going forward, is when we finish the film, we're going to watch the trailer for the next film.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's what we did. Yeah.
So we watched the trailer from The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I watched it and I was like, I don't remember any of this. So that's cool. I feel more fresh going into this one, I think. I don't remember a single thing about it. I remember it being sad at the end of it. That's the only thing that I remember.
I mean, the only thing about this one is, as I said, the ending is really violent. I don't think it's as good as Iron Man at all. Like, I really don't.
Well,
this
is
it,
right?
great,
okay, so let's talk. We're kind of done with Iron Man, right? That was what I thought of Iron Man. We don't need to go over anything else. So, like, all I've heard from you is that this film is like the weakest of the lot, right?
Yeah.
And why is it that this one is seen as not part of the whole thing?
Partly, I mean, maybe part of it is because
should we talk about that next week?
Probably we should, actually, yeah. I think we should talk about it then, because
I don't want to really go into it having ideas in my head. How do I watch it? Because you're saying this one isn't on Disney Plus.
It's not on Disney Plus, no. It may be on Netflix, because it's often on there as well, or it may be on Amazon. Yeah, it's because this is one of the only ones that Paramount, I think it was, still have the distribution rights over for some weird reason, and so it's not on Disney. I don't know why.
So I've got both Netflix and Amazon. So the Incredible
Hulk.
No, it's not on Netflix, James.
Okay. Well,
when I do that, it's the Incredible Jessica James. I don't know what that is.
That's another Marvel property, but it's
is it really?
Yep. There's a lot of them, right?
Okay, so Prime Video. Let's have a look.
I don't know if it'll be on there actually.
Pay for this. It's meant to be the worst, isn't it? The Incredible Hulk, rent or buy, $3.49.
That's outrageous.
Okay.
You got to see it though, because it's.
Oh right, it said Oscar nominee at the start of the description of this film, but it's just talking about Edward Norton.
It's talking about him, yeah.
It's a 12. Harry would be alright, I think.
I can't wait to talk to you about this film as well, because even though I think it's probably the weakest of all of them, it's still, there are interesting things to talk about with it, I think.
Okay, cool. So we are watching that tomorrow night, James.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, we're going to watch these weekly, I think. We're going to make it a thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe Charlie can watch the Spider-Man ones. Although, secretly, I don't want him to watch the Spider-Man ones with us, because like watching with a film with a 7-year-old is fine. Watching a film with a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old is a fucking nightmare.
That won't be fun. That really won't be fun. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we'll see. We will see. All right. Okay.
But overall, though, you enjoyed it pretty much, right? I mean, apart from its problems and. Yeah, that kind of thing. It
was okay. I think I felt a little bit empty by the end of it, but this film is not why these films are massive. It's like that's the beginning of it, and then when the Avengers and all that start coming together, that's where the real shit's going to happen, right?
See, my favourite one that we're going to, which hopefully we'll get to, is you see that we've got Incredible Hulk next, then you've got Iron Man 2, and then it's my favourite one. So of it, of Phase 1, which is Captain America, because I really like that one. But
really,
yeah, I really like it. I think it's a really good film. I don't know, I just like it.
Are we going to do all these films like? So does Captain America have like a really slow start where he becomes Captain America? I don't want to know the answer to it anyway.
Yeah, I
don't want to know the answer. I'll just go along for the
take each one as we go. Yeah,
I'm just more worried about Harry. Like, I don't want him just saying, "Just be enter superhero name here."
Just be Thor.
Like, for example, I know that they've done the Spider-Man origin story about 1 million times, right?
Yeah,
and I really hope
like that in
the
this though.
Spider-Man one that I am going to watch in this run doesn't do that again.
No, it's not the same. It's not. Okay, good. It's not really like that. Yeah, it's kind of different, but yeah.
I just want to get superheroes straight away, James. I don't want to watch.
So I just wanted to be a superhero smashing things up. That's all I want.
14 hours of making suits. I don't like that. Is not what I'm after. We've seen enough suit making for these films now. I think.
No one else does that. Oh, you haven't got that problem with the Incredible Hulk because he rips all his clothes every time.
He loses clothes, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's
lets those pecs out.
Yeah.
Should I be
All right.
worried? Okay. Should I show Harry the Incredible Hulk? You keep saying, "Oh, it's a bit violent."
If it's monster stuff that he's not bothered with that, then he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine with the monster stuff. He watched Ghostbusters, so
I don't think there's any sexy stuff in there either, from what I remember. I don't remember there being anything like that. There's nothing like in Iron Man. You haven't got stuff like that. There's no pole dancers.
Great. Thanks. Are you going to watch this one?
Yeah, I'll watch it again because I have to. Because otherwise, I don't know. I really enjoy watching these films anyway. As I said, I mean, I'm not a fanboy, but I am a fan of Marvel films. So it's good.
Cool. Well, then I will catch you next week.
Yeah, cool. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Laters, mate.
See ya.
Buzz back.